Oh yeah, you already know what time it is. You already know what's going on. I'm your host Cam Silver, and I am coming at you with a solo episode of the Silver Boys. So, welcome back. Another week down, and now we are starting to transition a little more into the NFL with training camp coming up next week. The NBA is still indeed making splashes. We will go over that later on in the episode, but for right now, the NFL is starting to take over little by little. There have been extensions. The new contracts have been coming guys' ways. So yeah, let's get into it. So the Bears extend their general manager Ryan Poles. That now he now ties to the franchise for the next 5 seasons, which I say in my opinion, which he deserves. He has been able to draft guys like Caleb Williams, Roman Dunze, and then most importantly, honestly, he's been able to get great offensive mind and Ben Johnson. So that is going to be a good thing for the Bears, and hopefully in these next few years we get to see the Bears start getting back into the playoffs and maybe start winning some games again. It's been a while. Everybody knows if you get drafted to the Bears, you're basically as a quarterback, especially if you get drafted to the Bears, you're basically in quarterback purgatory. So uh, Ryan Poles looks like he's doing his thing. He looks like he's on his way to becoming a good general manager for that squad, and hopefully for all of them, they all are able to coexist and do everything that they set out and plan to do. Moving on to the Chiefs. So the Chiefs were able to sign Trey Smith, who is a part of their O line. He was about to be franchise tagged, but right before the deadline hit, the Chiefs were able to reach an agreement with him for 4 years, 92 million. That includes 70 million guaranteed, and now makes him the highest paid offensive guard in NFL history. So Chiefs needed that, especially after getting exposed badly by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So that was a huge pickup for them. I know Patrick Mahomes happy. I know everybody else in that organization is happy as they gear up for another deep playoff run coming up this season. Speaking of the Chiefs, Rashid Rice sentenced to 5 years probation and 30 days of jail time that can be served during sometime during those 5 years, stemming from that multi-car crash that happened in Dallas last year during the off season. So now he has to pay for that. The judge, now that the judge has ruled on his decision, the NFL can now proceed with their disciplinary process, and Rashid will more than likely see a multi-game suspension coming up this season. Not sure exactly where that will fall into. These things, they're so iffy. I know for like repeat offenders, they kind of go a little longer. So we'll see where Rashid is. For me personally, I think I could see between a 4 to 8 game suspension. So I think somewhere in between there that he will get. Yeah, just I remember just seeing a video of Rashid in the car crash and knowing that he was basically the one who caused it, sitting there drag racing through Dallas. Yeah, for a young player like him, you just can't do that, especially on a contending team every year with a great quarterback, great organization. He should know to not put himself and put others in harm's way, and put the organization at such a bad light. Rashid is still coming off of an ACL injury, which I believe the Chiefs believe that he should be ready coming up this season. But like I said, the suspension by the NFL will determine when and where we will see him coming up this season. Moving on, Mike Williams retiring from football after 8 seasons. He's only 30 years old. I know he stemmed from injuries. That was a big key for him, but he was a great deep threat down the field for basically any quarterback that needed him. And happy trails, happy retirement to him. And I hope he's able to live a long and healthy life beyond the game of football. Um, Anthony Richardson is believed to have recovered from his recent right shoulder setback. that he had not too long ago. Colts report to training camp next week, so that will be something to watch with the Colts because with Anthony Richardson coming in, he's supposed to be the projected starter, but Daniel Jones is also coming in, so you have Anthony Richardson who has been having up and down type of years these past couple of years. I think that the organization of the Colts believe that he should be on an upward trajectory. They do have a good team. They have a team that can indeed make the playoffs, but we will see. Daniel Jones, he's someone else who is after he was let go from the Giants, he went on to Minnesota, learned some things there, and now he's with the Colts and could be a backup. But if Anthony Richardson does not look like the Anthony Richardson that Indianapolis signed him up to be, then we could see Daniel Jones once again, and then maybe in this offensive setting that he will be a little better. So keep an eye on the quarterback position out there with the Colts. Another quarterback position to look at also is with the Browns. They have four guys that they're looking at, and Joe Flacco, Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and if I'm not mistaken, the other one is Kenny Pickett. If I have everything right, yes, Kenny Pickett. He's the other one that they are looking at. So yeah, that's another one that I think everybody will obviously be looking at. Obviously, everyone has their eyes on Shador, whether you like him or you hate him. Everybody has their eyes on him. Joe Flacco, I do believe, will more than likely be the starter if the Browns want to get off to a fast start. Um, uh, because the Browns are and Browns are another place, not only Chicago, but Cleveland is another place where it's a quarterback purgatory. So, very interested to see how they deal with that, having being the fact that they drafted two rookie quarterbacks. They have Kenny Pickett, who just has not found a home for himself, and Joe Flacco. He's like the old man that catches lightning in a bottle. When he gets hot, and he can make some things happen as we've seen not too long ago. So yeah, very interested to see what goes on between those two teams and their quarterback positions. Um, Moving on, Jordan Addison could be facing at least a 3 game suspension. If he's convicted, well, he took the plea, he took the guilty plea of a lesser charge. So, yeah, more than likely a 3 game suspension, maybe longer, from his DUI citation that he had, this offseason. So for the games that he will miss, he will be forfeiting at least over $88,000 per game from the suspension, and the full guarantee that he had on his 2 year 4.6 mil is will now be voided. That the remaining of that will be voided. So yeah, man, these guys, man, they gotta understand, like, you're putting yourself and putting a lot of people in horrible positions, and you just can't afford to do things like that. You guys have all this money, like there's no reason for you to have any type of DUI at all. So Jordan Addison was also suspended before, or I forgot, or he had missed with an injury before. So yeah, Jordan Addison's a really good wide receiver. He's a really good number two next to Justin Jefferson, especially with the JJ McCarthy coming in with this Viking squad. You would love to have your whole team there, and like they have one of the best catching. They have one of the best catchers in all of the sport with not only JJ and Addison, but also TJ Hawkinson, who's really good. They still have KJ Osborne, if I'm not mistaken, as well, and they have a pretty good old line with a pretty nice defense. So that team can always be in contention, but it's hard to be in contention when your number two guy is not there. Taking pressure off of Justin Jefferson, even though Justin Jefferson seems like he could catch the ball, whether he's in a double team or triple team, even feels like even if you put the whole team down there, he'll still end up catching the ball, right? So yeah, just can't have things like that happen on good teams, as we see with the Vikings and as we see with the Chiefs. The Jets are making some noise this past week. So the Jets were able to reach an agreement for 4 years, $130 million contract extension with Garrett Wilson. That includes 90 million guaranteed. It marks the first time in NFL history that a receiver will get an average of over 31 million after playing just 3 seasons. Garrett Wilson has averaged over 1,000 yards each of his first three seasons and with different quarterbacks as well. So that right there is a testament to how good he is and how I believe how great he will be in the coming years. Now he will be up there as a top five paid receiver as he should be. He has Justin Fields, who I believe is in a prove it situation, and no better way to start than having your number one guy with a comfortable contract. And now he could show off his route tree. He could show off how good he has been and how he will be over these coming years. So that's a great job for the Jets. It's about time that they do something like this, and it didn't stop there as they were able to sign Sauce Gardner to a 4-year extension, and his extension is worth over 30 million per year. 30 million per year for a cornerback, and that is the highest paid cornerback per year in the NFL. Now, Sauce has had this label of being overrated. Personally, I never thought that he was overrated. Yeah, he holds sometimes, but who doesn't? It's hard with these with these receivers. Some of these receivers are really, really good, but Sauce Gardner is a great cornerback who can he could give your number one, your number two a lot of problems. He could shut them down if he really wanted to. So and he's very competitive. So I believe the Jets are doing right by both of them. And now they're and also with their new head coach coming in, Aaron Glenn. So that's gonna be real good for that Jets squad. So all my Jets fans out there, you guys can rejoice. Um, Juwan Jennings and the Niners. Juwan Jennings is supposed to be scheduled to make $7.5 million this season. It's his final year on that deal. He wants a new contract, but if he doesn't get a new one, he would like to be traded. He was the second leading receiver for the Niners last season with 77 receptions, 975 yards, and six touchdowns. He was only second to obviously George Kittle, holding it down on that wide receiver and without Brandon Ayuk. And then Deebo Samuel fell back. He kind of fell off a little bit. Ricky Pearsall, he's coming in. He literally was shot last all season. Then after that came in and still made an impact. So I could see the Niners kind of shifting more towards that way. We'll also see how Brandon Ayuk looks. And so I know Jawan Jennings is really in a prove it year. So I expect his numbers to kind of stay where they are, but also I would like to see them improve just a little bit. Maybe he does. Maybe he is able to get 1,000 yard season. Who knows? Also with that Niners squad there, I'm pretty sure they're looking to get healthy with Christian McCaffrey coming back, and they also have Robert Saleh now back on that defensive end, which is going to be huge in my opinion. So the NFC West is going to be something to look at, along with the fact that they have the Rams, who now has Devontae Adams over there, young Kyron Williams at running back, and Matt Stafford. He's still out there doing his thing, along with Puka Nacua on the other end of Adams. So yeah, and a young defense too. I should add. So yeah, no, the Niners, the Rams, Seahawks, NFC West is looking real promising this season. Um, Another one that I want to get into is a scary Terry McLaurin. He's been frustrated and disappointed with the lack of progress within this contract extension that he's been trying to get. He has this 1 year left that he's coming up on. I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's making around like 23 million this upcoming season. And yeah, he wants a new deal done, and I understand why. Over the last 5 seasons, he's had over 1,000 yards each season. Last season alone, with the rookie Jaden Daniels, he had 82 receptions, 1,096 yards, and 13 touchdowns. So, and maybe it's the money, maybe it's the fact that maybe it's the years that they're looking at. I don't know, but I believe that they need to get this done because he's not going to show up to training camp, and you need him at training camp. This is a year where everyone's kind of expecting Jenny Daniels to have that fall off. I personally don't want him to have that fall off. I personally don't think that he'll have a fall off because of how dynamic he is, because of how good he is. But you guys know what they say. That second year comes around, like guys have that fall off because now everyone has a full year of film on these guys, kind of like how you seen with CJ Stroud. So yeah, I believe they need Scary Terry McLaurin for sure to open up that offense and lift the top off that defense to if any defense out there that they're looking at. But the Commanders do get Von Miller, two-time Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP back in 2016. Has bounced around. Wasn't quite the same coming back from his injury with the Bills, but hopefully he'll come to the Commanders and make a difference. The Commanders have done everything in their power to kind of try to stay almost, I'm not gonna say step by step, step by step, but to stay as close to the Eagles as they can, knowing that the Eagles are basically the blueprint right now. So I do like this signing for them. Hopefully he does come back and he is a little better. And he could be, he shows flashes in big time moments where he can make a difference. So that big stuff for the Commanders. Um, Steelers after Personally, for me, this was a scary. I was getting a little worried. Not a lot, but a little bit. But the Steelers have made TJ Watt the highest non-paid quarterback in NFL history for the second time in his career, reaching an agreement of 3 years, $123 million extension that includes $108 million fully guaranteed at signing. He will now be paid at 41 million per year. That is the highest of any non-quarterback in history of the NFL. Over the last 5 seasons, he's had over 73 and a half sacks, and that's the most in that span. So he deserves every single penny of that money right there. TJ Watt, man, he a disruptor. You can't really guard him one on one. It's almost with those numbers, it's almost impossible to do so. So with the Steelers, they're going all in. They re-sign TJ Watt. They trade for John Smith. They get Aaron Rodgers. They trade for DK Metcalf. They get other veterans on that defense, such as a Darius Slay and a Jalen Ramsey. So Steelers are all in. They know exactly what they have. They know that, if this doesn't work out, then the scary part about it is that they might have to break a good amount of this down. And something that obviously as a Steelers fan, I don't want to happen, but I would love to see them get over the hump and finally just get a playoff win. We haven't had one since 2016, and that bothers me. And I know it bothers every other Steelers fan out there as well. Other pass rushers that are still waiting in the win is Trey Hendrickson, Michael Parsons, and Aiden Hutchinson. Micah, I do believe will get his. Don't understand to this day why Jerry decides to be the last one to do it, but I guess because he just wants to make a splash or whatever. But they would have paid a lot less because now Michael Parsons is probably going to be looking and be like, you want to know what? I could be up there in the same pay raise as a TJ Watt, and which he kind of has an argument for, right? He's a great athlete. He's the one that a lot of O lines, a lot of quarterbacks fear because he will indeed get to you. So, and he takes a lot of pressure off of other guys on that Cowboys defense because they can also make plays as well. So, yeah, Jerry, just pay him. Just pay him at this point. But Jay Hendrickson, still don't know or understand what Cincinnati's doing. They need Trey Hendrickson, I believe, more than Trey Hendrickson needs them. Hendrickson did everything he was supposed to do. He went to them last year, wanted more money. They said, "Hey, you just be good, do your thing. We'll get you your money." Sat back. He did his thing, obviously. He led the league in sacks, and still no money, no nothing. Hopefully, they are in communication, so hopefully, something is at least, so hopefully, the gears are at least being turned. But I, I don't know. I don't know. That right there is weird to me. After they had signed Chase and Higgins to their extensions, I expected Hendrickson to get his too, but nothing. And especially they needed most because their defense was the sole reason why the Bengals were not in the postseason. If if the Bengals defense was somewhat average, they were well below average in my opinion. If they were just somewhat average, then they'd be in the postseason, and then maybe this situation is different. But they need Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is a great guy. Trey Hendrickson is a great player, but I do know that he is turning 30, so that right there is a factor. It's probably is part of the reason why the Steelers were kind of hesitant, I guess, to give TJ Watt his. But Bengals they got to pay their man. Another one, like I said, Aiden Hutchinson. This one is a little tricky because Aiden Hutchinson is coming back from that nasty leg injury. So I think, in my opinion, I feel like the Lions are kind of going to sit back and watch him come back from this leg injury. If he is still Aiden Hutchinson, then yes, I expect another deal coming in. But if not, then there are going to be decisions that have to be made. Maybe he doesn't get the money that he probably feels like he deserves. Maybe that most of us feel like he deserves. But yeah, I feel like him coming back from that injury is something that they're going to really look at and assess. So yeah, the NFL man on its way back. Training camp is literally next week. On the 31st, we get the Hall of Fame game, and yeah, from then on, we are going to be diving back into a NFL season. So very excited. Before we get off of football, I would like to say that college football is also coming back. First games are not the 30th, but I believe the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be doing previews of the big four, the Power Four, the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12, and maybe even others. So yeah, very, very excited for football to be back. Man, I just can't wait. But moving on to the NBA, um, just a couple of things before we get to some of these signings. So Paul George underwent successful arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. He had to get treated for it in a decent workout. In a recent workout, excuse me, he had re-injured the left knee. So he is going to he's going to begin a rehab program, and he will be reevaluated prior to training camp. Man, the Sixers, man, they just can't catch a break no matter who it is, whether it's Paul George, whether it's Joel. They just need to somehow, some way be healthy. I know Joel Embiid is another one that, obviously everybody talks about because if he's healthy, then he's arguably the best player in the world. So hopefully they figure out what's going on over there and they can at least get healthy to at least just survive this season. Not gonna say that he's gonna play a full. He obviously will not play a full 82. He obviously won't play the 65 game minimum requirement for awards. But yes, he needs to. They need to figure that out so that they can at least hopefully make the playoffs with the wide open East. Hopefully make the playoffs, and then after that, if they could just be healthy, then after that they'll have some things to say against the other top contending teams. Dallas Mavericks center Derek Lively II undergone surgery to clean up bone spurs in his right foot, and he is expected to be healthy for training camp. This is a big year for Dallas. Big year for Dallas. Have Anthony Davis, Kyrie, got Cooper Flag, excuse me. Re-signed Dante Exum and so many others. So along with Daniel Gafford. So yes, having Derek Lively there will be great. Yeah, like I said, Dallas you guys are in a prove it year. These next couple of years, you guys they gotta do something. They gotta do it. And not even something, excuse me. They're basically in a almost Western Conference Finals to a finals or bust. And that's it. Anything other than that is a bust. It's a failed season. And they just extended Kyrie for 3 years. They extended Nico for 3 years. I think they also have AD for the next 3 years. So within these next 3 years, they have to win the title. If not, then this will blow up in everybody's face, and they'll have to clean house. Um, the news that not really shocked me, didn't really surprise me. Was just kind of waiting to see where the man will go. Bradley Beal, he bought out of his contract with the Suns, and he will now join the Los Angeles Lakers on a 2-year, $11 million deal. On that last year, the deal, he will have a player option. This does help the Suns, and it gives them an increase in team building and flexibility, taking them out of the first and the second apron. So I know that they are very happy about that. From what I had heard from Shams and others was that the breakup between Bill and the Suns was not too pretty. Um, which was kind of expected. He had a no trade clause, right? So yeah, like I said, it was expected, and but for the Suns, it now opens them up to trade draft picks of the future, open it up for mid-level exceptions for them to utilize as well. Bill almost gave up $14 million in a buyout. He tried his hardest to leave as little on the table for them and bring in and take as much for himself. There were other teams that were interested in him in the Bucks, the Lakers, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, and even the Heat. So he had some good interest, but from reports from Shams Charania was that James Harden was one who heavily recruited him to the Clippers. And but for me personally, I don't think that this moves the needle for me as the Clippers. Like we've seen how they went out against the Nuggets in that game 7, and I'm not really moved by any of it. James Harden has to score more. We'll see how Bradley Beal looks because his time with the Suns was just horrible. It was literally a time to forget. And then Kawhi, you just basically have to pray that Kawhi is going to be healthy for most of the season and throughout the playoffs, depending on how long that they go for. So yeah, this Clippers team is trying to stay in contention. Obviously, they should. In the West, it's an arms race. Everybody, like, there are at least a good, I would say at least 9 to 10, maybe a little more teams that feel like they should be in contention for a playoff spot. So. Yeah, but like I said, this doesn't move the needle for me as the Clippers. I feel like they're still going to be in the same spot. And if I'm being honest, if we see anything like we seen last year from any of the stars that are on this team, another first round exit, in my opinion. So nothing, nothing really to see here. Damian Lillard is going back to Portland. He's finalizing a 3-year, $42 million deal to return back to where it all started for him. He will have a player option in that 2027-28 year, which I believe is the last year, and he has a no trade clause. So only him and LeBron will now have no trade clauses in their contracts. This is good for Dame. Just last 2 seasons have been forgettable with the Bucks. Obviously ended on a horrible note, tearing his Achilles. But I think what Shams has said that it was important for him to get back to the West, important for him to get back to his kids and everything like that. And I think that, and also with Chauncey Billups and others from the Trailblazers coming in and also trying to work out a deal at his house, which was pretty big. So uh, I'm happy for Dame. Happy that he gets to go back. Other places were looking at him. We were hearing rumors of Golden State or Boston, but ultimately going back home is never really a bad thing. And then yeah, his career, he's gonna be one of the best shooters that we've ever seen. I think he'll be one of the top guys that we've ever witnessed in this game. One of the best 3-point shooters that we have seen up there, along with Steph Curry. So. Yeah, congrats to Dean. Congrats to the Trailblazers. They get him back. They get back Drew Holiday. Like, what's going on over there in Portland, you know? So, very excited to see what happens with them coming in next season. But yeah, that's the episode for this week. Thank you guys for sticking it out with me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. Maybe some things you have missed that I was able to put in your ear. But till then, I'm your host Cam Silver, and we'll be back next week with another Silver Boys episode.